Hello, Tri-Cities, and welcome to the Vote for Business Candidate Forum. It is the region-wide business-focused conversation brought to you by the Tri-City Regional Chamber of Commerce and Apple Valley News Now. I am Austin Reed, evening anchor with Apple Valley News Now ABC. Great to see everybody. You know, ballots begin arriving as early as October the 15th, and Election Day is Tuesday, November the 4th. Thank you for joining us to hear directly from the candidates on issues that affect our local economy and business economy. We have reviewed the ground rules with our candidates. Each will have exactly 1 minute for opening and closing statements and 2 minutes to answer each question. There are no rebuttals. We will alternate who answers first on each question. Our timer will signal when there are 10 seconds remaining, and I may step in to keep us on schedule. So without further ado, let's meet our candidates in alphabetical order for the race for City of Pasco position number 3. They are Leo Perales and Bryan Verhei. Thank you so much for being here, both of you.
Thank you.
We will begin with opening statements. So Leo, we'll start with you. You have 1 minute.
Thank you much. Thank you to Apple Valley, the Tri-City Regional Chamber of Commerce, and everyone in the City of Pasco for giving us the opportunity to come and talk with you guys. Again, my name is Leo Perales, your current Pasco City Councilman for District 3. 2 years ago, the residents of District 3 spoke loud and clear. They wanted change, and come November, I hope change is here to stay. We've made great progress, but the job isn't finished. We've made changes in regards to and reforms and improvements to public safety, economic development, and we've enforced and implemented community-focused policies and priorities. And I want to continue that. I have a wife and 3 kids, all grew up here in the City of Pasco. Again, I was humbled 2 years ago to become your voice. We have representatives who, on current City Council, like myself, who not only listen and talk, but we act. And we've acted on many issues the last 2 years. I don't think it's prudent to allow and give the keys to an opponent who would have to be brought up on the issues. And so currently right now, we have so many critical things to worry about, whether it's the economic development at the Broadmoor area, reform at the Tri-City Animal Shelter, the homelessness situation, housing affordability. And so with someone like me who's put in the work and who has excelled since being in office for the last year and a half, you know, the work is going to get done with my leadership along with the council. And so I'm looking forward to at least 4 more years to get the job done.
All right, thank you, Leo. Bryan, you have 1 minute for your opening statement.
Hi, thank you guys for the opportunity for letting me speak to this forum. My name is Bryan Verhei. I have been a local real estate agent here for 9 years. I have been working hard behind the scenes to fight the battles for affordability, working with groups like Community Land Trust to help make sure that we're able to bring down housing affordability. I'm running against an opponent who has been doing his best for Pasco. However, he's done some things that I don't think are great. We have had a situation pop up where the rental inspection program was removed and Leo Perales voted yes for that. I would have voted no. We have so many people that are renting, struggling to make ends meet, and that now we're taking away things that allowed them to make sure that they lived in a quality home. I know how to tackle affordable housing. It's my main point. But you don't get affordable housing without affordable transit. We have partnership with Ben Franklin Transit, and we had the West Pasco Transit Center stall. That project just stalled out. I will push that project forward as best I can, working with our partners, and make sure that we're doing everything we can to expand transit. So if you live in my neighborhood, you don't have to walk over a mile to get to a bus stop. You basically can't access food unless you own a car in my neighborhood. That needs a change. Finally, our current council has had several projects be taken out of town for a bit. We had building inspection and safety taken to an Oregon firm. That again, Mr. Perales voted yes on that. In my professional work, I know professionals that could do that job here in the Tri-Cities, and I know some that could do it in Pasco. I'll fight to make sure that Pasco dollars stay in Pasco and that we are keeping Pasco people employed with Pasco dollars. I've been working hard as I can as a realtor. I'm ready to take the next step and step out from behind the scenes to take care of you guys and your needs.
All right, Bryan, thank you very much. Let's move on now to our questions. We are going to start with you, Bryan. Question number 1, how will you support existing local businesses to help them expand and remain competitive?
Local business and small business really is the beating heart of our community. I love working with small business owners in my professional life. The thing we need to do is we need to make sure that transit is updated in a way that allows people to get to more of these businesses more easily. And then take advantage of our zone changes. We have a comprehensive plan due in June of 2026 that is going to address our affordable housing laws. And with that, we have an opportunity to designate more bike paths, more walking paths. As part of the plan for transit, let's go ahead and make it so you can get to where you need to go even if you can't afford a car. I want to make sure that these businesses are able to be accessed and that these businesses can have good business for people walking down the street, people taking transit. Let's work together to make our small businesses a community hub and center and not something that's difficult to reach.
Okay, Bryan. Leo, same question. You have 2 minutes. How will you support existing local businesses to help them expand and remain competitive?
I mean, since being on the council, we've done that. This has been the most pro-business council that this city has seen in decades. Look, inflation is high. You know, we got supply chain issues still from COVID. This city hall was a city hall in regards to business permitting. They were a city hall of no. We have changed that to yes. How can we help you? This council and myself have always said, what do you guys need, and we will get it done. We have done reform permitting for business license. We just talked about it in the last couple of weeks. When businesses were hurting downtown, people were silent. This council wasn't. We gave them $370,000 in CDBG funds. That is pro-business. We are helping. We have talked about the targeted urban area. I just got off the phone with the city of Richland because I'm a city councilman that actually acts. I'm not waiting on sometimes our staff to figure out what's going on. I talk to them. We can get that targeted urban area done within the next couple months and start getting manufacturing business here in the city of Pasco, working with the port. We have a great relationship with the port, but that's the type of stuff that you know and understand when you're on the council and you've done your homework. Look, I'm talking to every business out there. I have given a voice to the downtown. If there's any issues you need, I know we have issues with the homelessness. Who wants to come to and invest in downtown when you have homelessness rampant, people doing drugs? Who wants to come to the city when they go down, they have to go to 2 or 3 departments prior to us being on the council to get a business license? That's the stuff we need to do. And one thing I also believe, we need to start working with our unions, our trades. There's 7 million jobs out there that are going unfilled. There's people here who can fill those jobs. We need to work with the school district. We need to develop the workforce. We don't have that. The workforce is plateauing. Tri-City Journal of Business did a very good report on this recently. We are seeing it. We're one of the most fastest growing counties and cities here in the nation. And we're not doing enough to ensure that we have that workforce. Dairy Gold's great, but we can bring in bigger businesses than Dairy Gold. And that's what I want to still and try and do. You know, one thing I have fought for is to bring back the Pasco Business Advisory Council, because that shows you how long I've been involved. That went defunct when the new city manager, the old city manager that he went to the port, he got rid of that. I want to bring that back. I want to bring back a downtown development authority. Yes, we dissolved it because they were embezzling money or what have you, but we need a Main Street program in downtown. We need to invest in and implement the downtown master plan. So these are the things that are on not only my mind, but this council, and we're going to continue fighting for businesses. They are the lifeblood of our community. Not everyone works for a Boeing. Not everyone works for a Dairy Gold. That's why we need to continue developing our community. I mean, housing itself is a way to expand business and retain people. We need more housing. So again, that's a really complicated issue, but at the same time, it's really not. It comes down to policies, and the council is the one who sets the tone. And I believe going forward, we're going to set a better one.
We appreciate the specific examples from both of you. Let's continue on. Question number 2. This is about entrepreneurship and startups. And we are going to start with you, Leo. You have 2 minutes. Here's the question. What incentives would you support to encourage entrepreneurship and startups?
I love that, and I wish I had more time even for the question previously. We don't really offer any incentives here in the city of Pasco. I always look to other cities. I do my homework and research. The city of Richland is a great city to look at in regards to the target urban area. They give incentives for waivers for housing development. That's what we need to do. One thing that I've talked about in the last couple years was I want to bring in Fuse-inspired type of entity to the city of Pasco. Not everyone wants to go to college, right? No, not everyone wants to go work on the line somewhere. We need to be helping people who want to become young entrepreneurs, but I want it to be here with a Pasco flavor. And another thing that I would like to see is a more policies that support some of our smaller businesses. So I want to try and implement a buy local program. So for instance, like if a company or one of our vehicle fleet needs to get a new window, we only use local businesses to replace that windshield. That's the type of stuff. Let's start working more with the school district. You know, I'll be frank, our relationship with the school district is not the best. And Michelle Winnie will say the same thing. We need to partner together because not everyone is going to be a worker. We need people who are going to be innovative. It's the 21st century. Why aren't we talking to people about Bitcoin, about crypto, you know, about creating a program with P&L, WSU, for these innovators and entrepreneurs? We have tons of people who are not going to be workers, and so that's what I would like to see. And really, that's not really a city function. It really comes down to, like you said, in regards to the like the incentive programs. We can do all that stuff, but then again, that takes away from something from the general fund. So you got to be cognizant of that. But I would look forward to working on that here in the next 4 years.
Okay, Leo. Bryan, same question, 2 minutes. What incentives would you support to encourage entrepreneurship and startups?
So to encourage entrepreneurship and startups, the first thing we need to do is reach out to these entrepreneurs early. We want people who go to CBC, who go to WSU Tri-Cities, who get their education locally to stay here and use their skills here. So let's start reaching out with opportunities for them while they're still in college. Let's go ahead and do college fairs and sponsor things saying, hey, here's how you can become an entrepreneur. Let me tell you, I'm an entrepreneur myself. I have been in real estate, like I said, for 9 years, and I get the biggest gratification of pouring into young agents, young entrepreneurs, helping them build their business. The biggest thing entrepreneurs need is opportunity and mentorship. I believe that it would be wonderful for the city of Pasco to get a business mentorship department going. Doesn't have to be a whole ton of money, but enough to get these young folks in, let them learn what they don't know. I have a minor in business administration. I have to tell you, they teach you a whole lot about spreadsheets and whatnot in those classes. They don't really teach you how to start a business or how to generate customers. Let's get some mentorship for these people, and let's get some waivers so they can get a lease space more affordably. Let's get some support to help them know what they're looking for in their lease space. Education here is key if you want to own and run your own business. There's so much more than you learn in college.
All right, thank you both. We're going to move on now to question number 3. This is in regards to housing and workforce, and we're going to start with you, Bryan. 2 minutes. How will you address housing shortages that make it harder to attract and retain workers?
Our region has basically, since 2015, had a housing shortage. At one point down in 2020, we actually got down to 232 homes available for purchase. That was during the pandemic when we had a whole lot of people moving here when everyone could suddenly work remote. Now we're in a situation where the market has slowed down, but inventory hasn't really climbed. There's a couple things that we need to do as a city to take care of that. One is we need to make sure we eliminate any unnecessary red tape. Now, I'm not saying eliminate rules that would affect safety. And in fact, many of those rules are mandated by the state and make it difficult for us to do that. But what we can control with zoning, what we can control with local code enforcement, local regulations, we should clear that out of the way. Let me be very clear. We have lost big businesses and big opportunities for employment because we've had too much red tape and they have not been able to get what they need to make it a profitable bit. Now, more focus on housing. I love single family homes and they are a great thing for families. We also need to look at infill development, that is vacant lots in places in the city where we can then build multifamily homes and build up. Also, with the 2026 comprehensive plan, there are new housing laws that I am uniquely positioned to make sure that we execute correctly and make sure that we are taking these new requirements from the state for middle housing. So that would be, fourplexes, courtyard homes, triplexes, duplexes, and accessory dwelling units. we need to make sure that these laws, as they're being applied, we're being thoughtful about how we otherwise zone and how we otherwise develop. We need to look at where can we get maybe apartments above businesses, kind of like Kennewick is doing with their Vista Field project. Where can we make more housing options to drive down prices? And it can't all be solved on a market level as well. But at the city, we can control making things easier for developers, easier for builders, and more options for people, which will help push down the cost of rent and create more options on the market. Then, for the other folks that need a little bit more help, let's partner with other groups. Let's partner with Habitat for Humanity. Let's partner with community land trust groups. Let's make alternate ways to let people step into homeownership, because the numbers are clear. If you own a home, you're going to do better in life. That's just the statistics.
Leo, same question. Remember, guys, just 2 minutes on each question. How will you address housing shortages and make it harder to attract and retain workers?
We need more than 2 minutes on this. I can do this all day. I don't want to beat up on Bryan, but just sometimes you hear things, you're just like, are we in the know here? Look, the city is partnering with Habitat for Humanity right now. They are looking into put in between 100 to 250 duplexes, triplexes, townhomes over there off of Road 76 over by the Lowe's. We are doing stuff. The biggest issue until a couple years ago was that the City of Pasco was mostly zoned single family. He is correct. We need to move away from that. We did do that. We are implementing SB 1923, SB 50, the other Senate bill in regards to permit reforms. That's the stuff on day one this council has addressed. Whether it's the traffic impact fee program that we just implemented, whether it's the state environmental policy act stuff we just got done reforming, these are the things that we have done because I have a development and construction and inspection background. I know these are the barriers. The red tape, I don't want to just say the word red tape. That's a buzzword everyone wants to say, always say when they're running for office. What exactly is that? When I got in, I didn't want to talk about buzzwords. I wanted to get things done, and that's one thing that we've done. It's a lot of work, and I'm very happy with the staff. We have put so much stuff on them that needs to be reformed. We just reformed our development review fee in regards to infrastructure. These are type of stuff that's going to provide predictability to developers, so they know how much things are going to cost when they come and they want to develop something. So really, it's not really zoning. The comprehensive plan and the zoning stuff needs to be more out there and more transparent, because the issue I'm finding is that people are upset that across the street they're putting in townhomes and duplexes and apartments across from 1 acre lots. We need to get people more involved with that so that we can drive the density to certain areas of our city. So I would say by being in office the last 2 years, it really has nothing to do with the zoning. It really has more to do with the barriers that were in place, the red tape, the things that we are working on. Right now our permitting and planning is limping because we're losing people. So to address this comment earlier about that we hired a Northwest co-professionals out of Oregon, well, it's because people are leaving to go to other places. So we need to do a better job in retaining inspectors. I know that because I'm an inspector. I go and inspect these types of buildings and stuff. So I know this stuff and if he has a friend, hey, tell him to apply. We have job openings. That is a job that that's a job that we will fill because we need people there. But when it comes to housing just and affordability, it really just comes down to getting that part shored up, the planning and permitting. That's the stuff that's stopping more development here. We're not building enough. We need, and that's one of the biggest things this council wants to address going forward is now what else do we need? And that's the reason why we made all these certain reforms. Please watch city council meetings. We are talking about development stuff all the time to make housing more affordability. I created a bridge currently with the with the Pasco Franklin Housing Authority. That was not there a couple years ago. I'm reaching out. What do you guys need? And we're working with them. We just got rid of the pilot, the tax fee that they would have to pay every year. We got rid of that. We're going to be assisting them. We're going to unleash some HB 1406 funds to help them with design for some new housing. So it's being done. And if you ever want to see that, go to Leo for Pasco on my Facebook. You'll see all the information there in regards to all the housing stuff that we're doing.
All right, thank you both for that. We appreciate the concise, actionable ideas. You're both very passionate. Here is the final question, and this kind of goes hand in hand with the last one, and I can tell you guys are going to be have a lot to say about this. So we're going to start with you, Leo. You've got 2 minutes. This is about infill and downtown vitality. So Leo, what is your position on infill development and revitalizing the downtown area of Pasco?
You know, sometimes I feel bad for downtown because I just feel like they haven't been that supported. But when this council got flipped a couple years ago, downtown has been a priority for us. We got money from the federal government, and we have a lighting project down there. You know, it's going to make it more safer for businesses. We invested more into the graffiti abatement program. They were going to cut the cleanup service in downtown. We said, no, you're not going to do that. We want people to come to downtown. We want to see more infill. We want to see businesses there. Which is why I want to see a Fuse-like incubator for the downtown. We need a Main Street program in downtown. So when it comes to housing, yeah, we need to start allowing more mixed-use development. We have mixed-use development in certain places of the city, but not necessarily in kind of the downtown area. It is what it is. But we need to promote that more. But you know, we got to look into how to revitalize that place even more. We need to have actionable items to implement the downtown master plan, and we're doing that. We're looking into upgrading that North Plaza. We just did some stuff recently in regards to drive-throughs in downtown. They were going to omit that perhaps a coffee shop can have a drive-through. No, but we pulled that out. No, we want people to invest in downtown. So, you know, I think going forward, there needs to be actionable items, and I've already expressed that with the city manager. You know, what's next on the docket here? What are 3 or 4 things that we can do in the next year to help the infill, to help people to come open businesses? You know, we need to be pushing people out because of the homeless situation. Franklin PUD just came by the other day, on Monday, saying, hey, you know, we might pull out of here, and that's not necessarily downtown, but it's really adjacent because of the homeless problem. So there's a lot of things we still need to address, but I have full confidence in this council and in regards to that master plan, and we're going to get it implemented.
Okay. Bryan, same question, 2 minutes. What is your position on infill development and revitalizing downtown Pasco?
Yeah, so infill development is going to be very vital. And, you know, we talk about, you know, being in the know and whatnot. Let me be very clear. Infill development is going to be a way to help us reach goals in downtown Pasco. The master plan that my opponent has spoken of, I have not seen anything really actionable happen down there. His examples have not been well met in the community. And so really, let's look at what we can do right now. Infill development is huge. It's allowing us to build some more of those multifamily projects. It's allowing us to build, hey, let's have a business on the bottom, place for the business owner to live up top. Let's get new ideas. We need to build up and not out. Infill development is how we revitalize as we breathe more life into the downtown community. Now, let's also just address what was brought up with unhoused people. Part of how we address this problem with unhoused people is not to just kick them out. These are human beings, people. They come out of the shelter when it closes around 5:30 in the morning. They gather around Sylvester. They make their way to the park. They're eventually routed out to the park. Where are they supposed to go? We need to have places for these folks to go where they are exposed to more treatment, where they're exposed to more opportunities to get better with other things they have. I know a lot of folks that, frankly, life has been hard. We've had inflation, like Leo had said. We've had financial realities that have just kicked people down. You can't care about what you do until you get that boot off your neck. Where am I going to have shelter? How am I going to get my next meal? If you're asking these questions, you're left in a dark spot. So on the unhoused problem with downtown, let's work with our community partners. Let's give more partnership with Union Gospel Mission. Let's bring these stakeholders to the table so we can come up with more ways that we can help these people have more dignity and help these people be in a better situation and improve. That will help with the unhoused problem in the downtown area. Otherwise, there's a lot of buildings and a lot of opportunity where the city can step in and help be a developer. They can lease out buildings at a discount. They can purchase properties they don't currently have rights to and allow that to be an entrepreneurial space, allow that to be revitalized, and allow us to move forward. It's about making sure that we meet the needs of our people. I want to be there. I want people to be able to listen to me. And all of this is laid out at voteverhei.com. You're welcome to go check it out anytime. Let's make sure that we're doing what we can to make smart moves in Pasco and make sure that we're using the laws that we have. For example, the new middle housing law, the new ADU law. Actually, I don't know if people don't know this, it doesn't require rezoning for a lot of these things. Unless they're already prohibited by a pre-existing rule on the deed, you can build an ADU on your property now. you can build multifamily homes in a development without needing permission from the city. It just has to fit the rest of the building codes. These are the new laws that are coming down that we need to make sure we're building on. It will help us revitalize, and it will help us use our empty spaces or dilapidated spaces to breathe new life into downtown and to help as many people as possible.
We are now going to move on to closing statements. So that's how we are going to finish today's debate. Now, because Leo opened, Bryan, you will close first. You have 1 minute for your closing statement. Take it away.
So I'm in this race to do right by people. Cities are not businesses. They're there to serve the people, and that's what I want to do. I want to be there to listen to you. I want to be there to speak with you. Now, I may not have the best social media reach. My phone number is so easy to find. I invite everybody to give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email. I would love to engage with everyone who wants it one-on-one. I'm in this to do the simple things correctly. Make housing more affordable, make transit that actually keeps up, and keep Pasco jobs in Pasco. And just because I'm not in front of the camera all the time, just because I'm not trying to self-promote all the time, doesn't mean I'm not out there paying attention to what's going on, and it doesn't mean that I'm not helping people and doing good for the city already. Thank you guys for your time.
Thank you, Bryan. Leo Perales, 1 minute.
If people out there want to know about ADUs, the City of Pasco has a great ADU handbook. You can go to the website, you can find it. I'm running for all the right reasons. I ran 2 years ago because people told me that we need someone like you. We think you can really make a change. And that's what I've done in the last year and a half I've been on council. Look, we still need to make more improvements in public safety, economic development. We need to see more investments in our roads, and we're doing all that. We need to close the delta with our budget deficit, which I wish there would have been a question about that, but there wasn't. I want to implement pro-family policies. We don't need Seattle-like politics here in the City of Pasco. We just don't. We know what we need to do, and I have been welcoming to people. My phone number is on my Facebook page. People have called me, I want to say hi to the Janices and the Pauls, residents of my district that I have helped. And I've always been a phone call away, email away. I know I'm probably one of the most responsive council members anyone's ever seen in the Tri-Cities. And if that comes off as self-promotion, well, I guess that's okay. Because I know I've worked my ass off the last year and a half for the residents of this city when they didn't even know who their council member was when I ran 2 years ago. So I'm looking to get more, work with this council for the next 4 years to finish the job with all these issues, whether it's homelessness, housing affordability, retaining businesses. So come November 4, vote for a conservative leader like myself, who's pro-family, pro-community, and we're going to get things done. Thank you.
Leo Perales, thank you. Bryan Verhei, thank you very much. And this has been the 2025 Tri-City Regional Chamber's Vote for Business Candidate Forum, featuring candidates for City of Pasco position number 3. As we do count down to Election Day on November 4th, please watch, share, and most importantly, vote. Most importantly, vote. You can find this forum and others on the Tri-City Regional Chamber website. That is tricityregionalchamber.com, and on the Apple Valley News Now website, which is applevalleynewsnow.com. On behalf of the Chamber, the candidates, and the Apple Valley News Now team, thank you for joining us. I'm Austin Breed with Apple Valley News Now ABC, and remember, vote.